as soon as we could possibly get it out and have our investigators have some ability with some degree of certainty to establish both that there was a legitimate reason for a critical concern, as well as the time it took to notify relatives of the Russells so they would not first see that information in the media.
Can you tell us right now what the search is going on for Littleton right now? Where is it concentrated? Where do you believe he may be? Can you give us an update as to where the search is for him at this point?
I don't know that we have a specific area we're looking at. We're looking at Ohio statewide. We're looking at our neighboring states. There's certainly been enough time and mobility that he could have moved elsewhere. We don't have any confirmed sightings of him, and we're still looking for information from the public to help us locate him.
Does he have relatives out of state? We understand he has relatives in West Virginia and Tennessee.
That's my understanding.
Have you made contact with authorities there?
Yes.
Chief, we've been here for several days talking with people in town. They tell us they're scared. As I'm sure you've heard, rumors are running rampant. Why wait 7 days since Tiffany's disappearance to hold a press conference and take questions from the press?
Because it's taken us that long to have specific information we can respond back to you, to have specific information we can get out to the community. As you're aware, I'm sure we've been putting out printed media information for distribution to try in an effort to keep our community informed and to keep our community engaged. Our focus has been on our local media. We appreciate the work that the video media in particular does, but we've got to have quality information we can give, and this is when it has worked out for us to do that.
Do you believe?
Go ahead.
Do you believe Littleton is driving the green marquee car of the Russells?
I don't know that we have any information that would indicate or not indicate that.
So we don't, for the public's point of view, there's no vehicle that he may be driving that people could help out to try to identify him?
We are interested in locating the green Grand Marquis that belongs to the Russells because we believe there may be a connection with Samuel Littleton.
Is there any indication that the Russells are with the car?
Not that I'm aware of, other than they are the registered owners of the vehicle, and it is missing from their residence.
How great is the concern for the Russells right now? I know they're not in great health. They're an elderly couple.
Well, I think you can assess that as good as anybody can. You have an elderly couple that's missing from their residence, and it's not their normal, it's not within their normal activities that anybody's been able to determine.
Do you have any indications as to what their health issues might be?
No, and that's not something we could address anyway.
Chief, you said that her body was discovered partially clad. Are you investigating the possibility of a sexual assault?
Certainly that's a part of the forensic examination process in any homicide of this nature.
Can you talk about what made Littleton a person of interest by Wednesday?
Probably the most significant thing, Bill, was the fact that we were reaching out to interview him, and we just couldn't seem to connect up with him.
Why is he not a suspect at this point?
At this point, we don't have charges on him or anyone else. He has been identified as a person of interest, and we are proceeding cautiously insofar as labeling any people that may or may not be involved in this.
Does it seem as though he acted alone, or does it seem as though anybody else is a person of interest, possibly?
I wouldn't say that we have anybody else as a person of interest. I don't know that we have any information one way or the other at this point as to his actions.
Chief, when was the last time anyone physically saw Sam Littleton? Either have you ever talked to him, and when was the last time Neely saw him, or when do we know where he was last? Do we know?
My best recollection is Wednesday morning. But
at the home? At East or somewhere else?
Well, let me finish. Wednesday morning, but I'm not sure where that was. He's employed. He does commute. You know, we've been back and forth with this, and I quite frankly don't have that information at my fingertips.
Chief, I understand that he kind of clocked out early from work, left early Wednesday from work. Is that true?
Eric, that's not information that I have. There isn't any one person here that has all the information. That's why we have so many people involved. That's why we meet every day. That's why we talk about the breadth of the investigation. I can't tell you that it is or it isn't at this point. Yes.
Where is Deb Neely, and what did she tell you about the last time she saw Littleton in her home?
Our interview conversations with her are not something that we're willing to disclose at this time. She is staying with friends.
Is it under your understanding that Littleton allegedly committed, or let me say this, is it your understanding that the body was in the house while Neely was living there?
It's my understanding that the body has been in the house since at the latest Saturday.
And she says that she didn't hear anything that would lead her to be suspicious of anything of her daughter in the house. Is that correct?
There's nothing been communicated from Mrs. Neely that I'm aware of that would indicate she had any suspicions prior to the interview and the eventual discovery of the body.
Can you describe for us what that basement looked like? You said that it was unfinished. Was it a place where Littleton slept at night? I mean, tell me what that basement was.
I've not seen the basement. As it was described to me, it was unfinished, basically concrete floor. It was, as we described earlier, a basement living area that was assigned or used by him. We'll take one more.
Was there anything blocking the stairwell? I mean,
You have to be more specific, Joe.
boards, a panel board. I had one person tell me that when they went in the house, they saw a plywood board that was over the stairwell leading down to the basement, blocking most of the stairwell.
I'm not aware of that. The description from the investigative discovery was that she was found under a pile of scrap wood.
Okay.
That's, I don't know what, if any, relation that has with the stairwell.
So it wasn't like secured by a locked door or anything like that?
I don't know the answer to that.
Did the bank video from the bank at Lima or PNC reveal that Tiffany went to those banks alone? Was there anything that gave you any indication that she may have not been alone at these banks when she made the deposits?
That's my understanding, that there was nothing amiss during those transactions. One more.
Chief, what can you tell us that you've learned to this point about the relationship between Tiffany Brown and Sammy Littleton? Any reason he would have wanted to hurt her?
There's nothing that I can tell you because there's nothing that I know at this point. One of the reasons we are seeking him as a person of interest is because we're hopeful that if he chooses to cooperate, we may be able to learn some of the details from him.
Any indication there was a romantic connection there?
I don't have that information. It's not something we have at this time. That is one of the reasons we're looking for him as a person of interest in this inquiry. Thank you. My secretary is at the back. If you want a copy of the notes that I used initially, she'll be glad to provide those for you.